Hello students. Now today I am available with a new topic, that is vapor power cycle. Can you tell me what is importance of this chapter, or can anyone tell why this chapter is included in the syllabus? There is a very simple reason behind it. We have to discuss about vapor power cycle, means we are talking about power, and when we are talking about power it means a lot. So if we'll discuss about vapor power cycle, it means we are discussing how the power is produced, that is in terms of electrical energy. So the question may be there, why I am talking only about electrical energy? Because we can easily handle the electrical energy. Like if we'll make switch on, electrical supply is available. Switch off, electrical supply is not available. Easily we can control the supply. And you know that the electricity consumption per capita, that indicate the growth of the nation. If more and more amount of electricity consumption per capita is there, it means that in that country more and more industrial area is available, more and more industries are available, the peoples are with very high living standard, so we are preferred to move in that country. So this chapter is talking about different power cycles through which electrical energy is produced. So here initially we will discuss about vapor power cycle, then after we will discuss about gas power cycle, and at the end we will discuss application part of it. First we will discuss about vapor Carnot cycle. So whenever we are talking about Carnot cycle, we know that it is hypothetical cycle, it is ideal cycle, it is not existing in reality, but we have to start from hypothetical cycle and then at the end we will reach to the real cycle. So in case of vapor Carnot cycle, water vapor or steam is a working substance. Now you can see here different processes are there. We'll see the next TS diagram and how the vapor Carnot cycle will work, what are the major component of vapor Carnot cycle, how we are representing the vapor Carnot cycle on different diagram, how to find out efficiency of this vapor Carnot cycle, that we will discuss. So now you can see the figure number 1a, that is schematic diagram of vapor Carnot cycle or ideal Rankine cycle. So what you can see here is there are four basic components that include pump, boiler, turbine and condenser. So you can see between 2 and 3 the boiler is available. So at state 2 the water is entered into the boiler drum. What happens there? The water is converted into steam. That steam is coming out from the boiler. The steam may be, at present we are not considering what are the different types of steam, but at present we are considering only that the steam is coming out from the steam from the boiler and that is entering into the steam turbine. So what happens there in the steam turbine? There is expansion of the steam into the steam turbine and turbine work is available, or the turbine shaft will rotate, that is coupled with the armature of the generator, and electromotive force, that is EMF, is available. So between 3 to 4 turbine is available where work output is available or turbine work is available, whereas between 2 to 3 in the boiler we are supplying the heat. Now what happens? The steam which is entering into the turbine, that will expand into the turbine, and after expansion the steam is having low pressure, low temperature, so that is enter into the condenser. So there are different types of condenser. So at present we are not discussing in detail about the condenser, but the steam which is coming out from the turbine, that is having low temperature and that is entering into the condenser. Now what happens at state 1 is condensate, that is steam that is converted into the water, and that water as a condensate is available at state 1. Now the water which is available at state 1, that will be pumped by pump and it will reach to state 2 from state 2 that will enter into the boiler. So for the condenser, heat is rejected, whereas if we'll talk about pump, we have to supply pump work. So in general, we can say that in the figure number 1, in the boiler, heat is supplied, whereas in the condenser, heat is rejected. If we'll talk about turbine, work is produced, whereas in case of pump, we have to supply the work. Now we are discussing about next part, that is figure number 1b, that is TS diagram. So that is a temperature entropy diagram. So you can see for ideal cycle, 2 reversible adiabatic and 2 reversible isotherm processes are there. So you can see 1 to 2 process, that is reversible adiabatic process or it is isentropic process. So 1 to 2 process is a pumping process where S1 equals to S2. 2 to 3 is a constant temperature process, that is isothermal process. Between 2 to 3, heat addition will be there, that is in form of latent heat. So the water is converted into steam. The line which passes from state 2 is a saturated liquid line, whereas the line which passes from state 3, it is a saturated vapor line. So the saturated liquid is converted into saturated vapor. Now 3 to 4 is expansion into the turbine. Again it is isentropic process, S3 is equals to S4 and the turbine work is available, whereas between process 4 to 1 what you can see is the heat rejection will be there and we are moving from dry saturated vapor line to dry saturated liquid line. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 is a TS diagram for vapor Carnot cycle. So now what we had discussed in the previous figure number 1a and 1b, different processes, that is process 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 1 are available. Now from that we have to find out thermal efficiency. So you can find here the heat supplied at constant temperature Q1, that is TH into S3 minus S2, and the heat rejected, that is TL into S4 minus S1. And if we'll discuss about net work done, the net work done, that is equals to heat supplied minus heat rejected, and that is equals to, you can find TH minus TL into bracket S3 minus S2, where TH it is a high temperature, TL is a low temperature. So we can say that the efficiency of vapor Carnot cycle, that is equals to work done divided by heat supplied. So our net work done, that is TH minus TL into bracket S3 minus S2, and the heat supplied, that is the heat supplied between the process 2 to 3, that is TH into S3 minus S2. So ultimately that is 1 minus TL divided by TH. And if the temperature for heat addition and heat rejection are considered T1 and T2, then we will get, so Carnot cycle efficiency is equals to T1 minus T2 divided by T1, that is equals to 1 minus T2 by T1. So T2 is the heat rejection at lower temperature and T1 is the heat supplied at higher temperature. Now the question will be there in our mind, what are the different limitations because of that vapor Carnot cycle is not feasible? So here you find some reasons are there. First reason is turbine has to handle the steam with low quality, which will cause erosion and wear in the turbine blades. Means if we are supplying wet steam or if we are supplying dry saturated steam, in that case it is creating the erosion on the blades of the turbine as well as wear on the turbine blades. Second is, it is impractical to design the compressor that can handle two-phase. Means it is talking about at present pump. So the pump cannot handle the mixture of water vapor and water. Third is, it is difficult to control the condensation process as precisely as to end up with the desired point 1. Means the point number 1 is talking about a state in the wet zone. Means in that wet zone some amount of water droplets are suspended in the vapor. And you can see the fourth reason also, that isentropic compression to the extremely high pressure and isothermal heat transfer are heat transfer at variable pressures. Means if we talk about these two processes that will occur at different pressures and different speed, so it is not possible to accommodate these two processes in one cycle, and hence we have to modify the cycle. And now we will discuss the actual possible feasible cycle, that is vapor cycle, which is widely known as Rankine cycle. We are doing when we are doing some modification in the vapor Carnot cycle, it converts into Rankine cycle. So here you find four different processes. First is 1 to 2, that is isentropic compression in a pump. Second process is 2 to 3, that takes place at constant pressure heat addition in the boiler. 3 to 4 process, that is isentropic expansion into the turbine. And 4 to 1 process, that is the constant pressure heat rejection in the condenser. So now in the next figure we will discuss about actual schematic diagram and representation of the same on TS, PV and HS diagram. Figure number 2A is talking about schematic diagram of Rankine cycle. Again you find four components are available, what we have discussed, that is the pump, boiler, turbine and condenser. So what we had discussed about the four major component, it remains same. Now you can see the PV diagram here, where you can find here between 2 to 3 process there are three different state of steams are available. 3 dash is a wet steam, 3 is a dry saturated steam, and 3 double dash is a superheated state of steam. So if there is expansion takes place of wet steam, that expansion will be shown here between the process 3 days to 4 days. If initial state of steam is a dry saturated steam, then the expansion is shown here with the line 3 to 4. And if the steam is superheated steam, then the expansion of superheated steam is shown between 3 double dash to 4 double dash. So your cycle, that is 1, 2, 2 dash, 3 dash, 4 dash, 1 is a cycle for wet steam. Your cycle 1, 2, 2 dash, 3 dash, 3, 4, 4 dash, 1 is for dry saturated steam. And if the steam is superheated one, the cycle is 1, 2, 2 dash, 3 dash, 3, 3 double dash, 4 double dash, 4, 4 dash, 1. The same thing is mentioned here with the TS and HS diagram. So you can see in the TS diagram, again three different states of steam are shown, that is between 3 days to 4 days, 3 to 4 and 3 double days to 4 double days, that is wet steam, dry saturated steam and superheated steam respectively. And the next diagram is HS diagram, that is enthalpy entropy diagram. Again the cycle is shown here with 1, 2, 3 double dash, 4 double dash, 1, that is superheated cycle for superheated steam. In the same way you can again consider the cycle for wet steam as well as for dry saturated steam. So in exam the question may be there, draw a schematic diagram for simple Rankine cycle and represent the same on PV, TS and HS diagram. So in that case just you have to draw the schematic diagram, and after that you have to represent the entire cycle on PV, TS and HS diagram. Part is we have to find out efficiency of Rankine cycle, that is the cycle available in thermal power plants. So the question may be there in your exam, in your personal interview, okay, what are the different places in Gujarat or in India where the thermal power plants are available? So when you are going through this vapor power cycle, you must know you are belongs to which place, which state, and nearer to your place, which type of power plant is available. And if you are talking about the state, in your state, how many thermal power plants are available. So now we are moving towards the second task. Here you can see different processes. The process 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 1 are shown, where 1 to 2 process is a process that takes place between the pump. The pump is pumping the water from state 1 to 2, and when we are applying steady flow energy equation to the pump, we will get the amount of work which we have to supply to the pump, WC, that is equals to H2 minus H1. In the same way, in the boiler what we know is heat is supplied to the boiler drum, and according to the SFE, that is steady flow energy equation for boiler, the amount of heat supplied Q1, that is equals to H3 minus H2. If we'll talk about the process 3 to 4, that is expansion of the steam into the turbine, and turbine work is available. The turbine work WT, that is equals to H3 minus H4, that is a steady flow energy equation for the turbine. And at the end, if we'll talk about process 4 to 1, which is the heat rejection process in the condenser, the amount of heat rejected, that is equals to H4 minus H1. We are discussing different performance parameters related to vapor power cycle. So among them, first is efficiency of Rankine cycle. Efficiency in general is known as output to the input. So whenever we are talking about efficiency of Rankine cycle, it is ratio of output to the input. So what is output here? Output is net work available from the system. And what do you mean by net work? Because in our system we know that turbine is producing the work, pump is consuming the work. But we know that the turbine is producing the power in terms of megawatt, whereas the pump is consuming the power in terms of kilowatt, which is a very smaller compared to the turbine work, and hence net work available, that is our output, and the amount of heat supplied to the boiler is our input. So efficiency of Rankine cycle is the ratio of net work output to the heat supplied. So what is the net work output formula? That is H3 minus H4, that is the turbine work available, minus H2 minus H1, that is pump work, divided by H3 minus H2, that is a turbine work or the heat supplied to the turbine. So the equation number 5.5, you can see it is talking about the efficiency of Rankine cycle, which is considering the pump work. Now, as previously we will discuss that the turbine is producing the power in terms of megawatt, whereas the pump is consuming the power in terms of kilowatt, which is a very small. So if we want to neglect the pump work, in that case the efficiency of Rankine cycle, that is H3 minus H4 divided by H3 minus H2, that is our required formula. Next is the work ratio, and the work ratio is defined as the ratio of net work available to the turbine work, that is W net divided by turbine work available. So if we talk about net work available from the turbine, that is from previous equation, it is H3 minus H4 minus H2 minus H1, and your turbine work is H3 minus H4. So we can write that and we will get the work ratio in above case. Now the next most important term which we have to discuss, that is the steam rate or specific steam consumption, SSC. So SSC or steam rate is defined as steam flow rate in terms of kilogram per hour divided by power output, that is net work available in terms of kilowatt. So the unit of specific steam consumption is kilogram per kilowatt hour, or you can say it is again shown as 3600 divided by W net. Now friends, we want to compare the Carnot cycle with Rankine cycle, that is ideal cycle with the actual cycle. So you find that in this figure, E, F, G, D, E, that is the Carnot cycle, and A, B, C, D, E, F, A, that is Rankine cycle. So now we want to compare both the cycle, and based on that we want to derive some conclusion. So in next figure, again we can see clearly the Carnot cycle and Rankine cycle on the TS diagram. So you can see, compared to the Carnot cycle, the area covered by the Rankine cycle is lower, and because of that the net work available from the Carnot cycle is more compared to the Rankine cycle, and because of that the efficiency of Rankine cycle is less compared to the Carnot cycle, what we can see here. And therefore we can say that compared to the hypothetical cycle, our actual cycle is giving less output, and we are always try to do more and more research on the actual cycle, and we try to move towards the hypothetical cycle, ideal cycle, so that we will get maximum efficiency or maximum output. The question will come in our mind that why there is a deviation in actual cycle compared to the ideal cycle. What are the different reasons why we will get less efficiency in case of Rankine cycle compared to the Vapor Carnot cycle? So you can find here some reasons are there. That is, when we'll talk about actual cycle, there are irreversibilities are there, fluid friction is there, undesirable heat losses are there, pressure drop is there. Because of all these, what we'll observe is the efficiency of actual cycle is lower. Generally what we are expecting is not possible. So what happens in real case is pump is consuming more power than what we are expecting, and turbine is producing less work than what we are expecting, and because of that we'll observe that pump is consuming more power, turbine is producing less work, and because of that we have to consider the isentropic efficiencies of turbine and of pump in actual calculation, and the deviation from the actual cycle is shown in the next figure. Now you can see here 1 to 2 is a pumping process, but 1 to 2 days is actual pumping process. So you can see the amount of pump work which we have to supply, or the amount of work which we have to supply in the pump. In ideal case it is between 1 to 2, but in actual case we have to supply the pump work that is between 1 to 2 days, which is a more. Whereas if we talk about other side of the graph, that is other side of TS diagram shown in figure number 4, we can see the turbine has to produce the turbine work that is between 3 to 4, but the turbine is producing the turbine work that is between 3 to 4 days, which is lower than the actual. Means pump is consuming more power and turbine is producing less work. So here first isentropic efficiency of pump is shown, that is ratio of isentropic work to the actual required work, and that is equals to H2 minus H1 divided by H2 dash minus H1. Whereas if we talk about the isentropic efficiency of pump, the isentropic efficiency of pump is a ratio of actual available work to the isentropic work, and that is H3 minus H4 dash divided by H3 minus H4. So till the point we had discussed about Vapor Carnot cycle and actual Rankine cycle. Also we had discussed the plotting of Rankine cycle on TS PV and HS diagram. Also, we have discussed what is the efficiency of Rankine cycle with consideration of pump work, without consideration of pump work, what are the limitation of Weber-Carnot cycle, and now next time we are going to discuss what are the different ways to improve the efficiency of Rankine cycle. Till this point, I had used this book, that is Engineering Thermodynamics by Atul Prakashan, written by Alpesh Mehta and Nirvesh Mehta. So we will continue with the same chapter. Stay tuned with this channel. So as and when the new video is available, we will discuss what are the different methods to improve the efficiency of Rankine cycle. After that, we will discuss about gas power cycle, and at the end we have to discuss about VCR cycle. Thank you.